Your eyes and your vision are under attack. Damaging blue light from the sun, your phone, your computer, your tablet, even light bulbs and car headlights is constantly bombarding you. The good news is our eyes actually already have a line of defense to counter the effects of blue light. This defense is made up of 3 pigments called carotenoids. MacuHealth with Micromicelle, the only supplement with the exclusive patent on all 3 macular carotenoids and Micromicelle technology.
The All Eyes Visual VRP is a portable vision testing platform that includes visual fields, acuity, color vision testing, pupillometry, and extraocular motility. The visual leverages virtual reality, artificial intelligence, and augmented technologies to enable eye care providers to test for and monitor common eye diseases. Visit alleyes.com for more information. With more screen usage and indoor time, myopia, also known as nearsightedness, is increasing and getting worse in children. Now, certified eye doctors can prescribe MiSight One Day, the first and only FDA-approved soft contact lens to slow myopia progression in age-appropriate children. Visit CooperVision.com to find a Brilliant Futures certified eye doctor near you. Do your patients know what presbyopia is?
There are people who are afraid of the press.
Have you talked to your patients about multifocal contact lenses?
I've heard the bifocal, but not multifocal.
Exactly, not multifocal.
Do you need help with your multifocal strategy? Learn more at the conclusion of this episode. 2023 baseball season is about to begin, and who better to speak to than Mickey Mantle's son, David Mantle. In part 2, David shares some hysterical as well as some touching Mickey Mantle stories. If you're new here and you like our interviews, press like, subscribe, share, and hit the bell. Also, please leave comments. Be sure to watch our full-length documentary, Open Your Eyes, on Amazon Prime, Apple TV, iTunes, Google Play, and YouTube Movies and Shows. And tune in to our brand new radio show Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. Central Time on AM 1280, The Patriot. What pitchers would he say were the hardest for him to hit? Did he ever say, like, oh, damn, I got to go up against this guy today? I can't hit him.
Who he really didn't. He didn't like Koufax or Drysdale. And he goes, man, I'm glad I didn't play him that often.
Really?
But, you know, there's I can't really think, but that's the only two that's the only story I really remember Dad saying one time to somebody, that was Koufax and Drysdale. I guess when they played them in the series, I guess Dad didn't do too good, but man, he goes, man, I don't like hitting against them.
Well, he did have 18 home runs in the World Series. I guess it's still the most ever. And supposedly your dad had a great knuckleball. They said he could have been a pitcher throwing a knuckleball after his career.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. That made me think of another story, if you don't mind.
Yeah, please.
Before the game, Dad was getting on Yogi about, oh man, all you do is sit behind the plate and call the game and all that stuff. And he goes, okay, Mick, if you think it's so easy, you do it. So Dad was calling the pitches from the outfield. And finally, I think after about the third or fourth or whatever inning, when they got back to the dugout, he goes, Yogi, you're right. You take over.
Oh, that's great. And did you know about that knuckleball that he threw?
No, I really didn't, sir.
Okay. All right. But well, maybe
I wish I did. I don't remember ever hearing anything, but I don't want to get it wrong. But God, there's something that I don't know. Maybe somebody else just mentioned to me that, he could have been a pitcher or something too. I don't know what it was. Maybe at spring training, they would, play around with stuff and everything when they're, had a little off time when they weren't, doing their practices and stuff.
What was it like when Yogi became his manager?
I don't know, but I think they still respected him. He was the manager, and Yogi was there a lot longer than Dad. And I think Yogi still has. God, I forgot how many rings does Yogi have? 10. Dad went to 12 World Series and they won 7, but Yogi's got 10 rings.
Wow, 10 rings! Isn't that something?
Yes. I know it. And I'm praying too that no one ever breaks the record. They won 5 years in a row. I'm hoping that's never broke.
Now, what was Yogi like?
Oh, he was a quiet guy, but he always had something that, his little sayings. And it's it's just, they would always just look at him and go like, what? I've always kind of wondered. I said, man, I would have liked to ask Yogi, but I probably got knocked on my butt from Dad. But I'd like go, man, why are you joke with everybody? But they all had their little things. But that was Yogi's, man. He was good at it. His saying, I mean, people still repeat them.
Wow. And Casey Stengel, did you ever meet Casey Stengel?
No, sir, I didn't. But I tell you what, Dad really loved Casey too. But Casey would get so mad because Billy was with the Yankees for a while, and then of course until the Copacabana incident, and when they were all out and that fight or whatever broke out there. Of course, I don't think we'll ever know who did throw the first punch because that's one of those stories that went to the grave with them. But that was the last straw. But Billy was really Casey's. But I mean, Billy idolized Casey, and Casey loved Billy too. Billy was just God. I mean, hanging around Casey that much too. That might have taught Billy a lot about how to be a manager, because Billy was I'd like to know right now why Billy Martin is still not in the Hall of Fame for a manager.
That's good. That's a good point. He should be.
I mean, we talked to Billy Jr. about that. I don't understand it. And I don't know if it's the press writers or whoever votes now, but it's BS.
So they always had the rumors about Billy Martin getting into fights. Was that true? Did he start fights? Did he end fights?
Oh, I don't know if he started them, but Mickey Jr. and Dad were with him a little while before that. When he was when the Yankees were over in Arlington, remember that fight that broke out at the, I think it was a strip club or something. I'm not sure, but Dad went on up to the room. I don't know why. Maybe he just knew. And Mickey Jr. goes, well, I'm going to go with Billy. And Dad goes, no, you're not. And Billy was by himself when those guys jumped him and stuff. But I tell you what, Billy could, he'd fight you. And I don't know how this could have happened. God must have done it. But at the hotel, Dad was staying there too. And, of course, Steinbrenner was on the road with him that time for some reason. Somebody hit the fire alarm. The hotel empties. They're all out front. Here comes that taxi pulling up, and it drops off Billy. He gets out. He's got blood on him and stuff. And I wish I could remember what Dad said he said to Mr. Steinbrenner. But I think Billy went on up, and one of the trainers went with him to kind of patch him up.
What was Steinbrenner like?
I never really got to know him that much. The only time I do remember was we were up in his office, and my little girl, Marilyn, was probably about 3 or 4. And we were up there for an event at the stadium. And we were up in Mr. Steinbrenner's box. And there was like a big old glove, like a chair thing. You know how what do they stuff them with? Whatever. It's a stuffed chair or whatever. And she was asleep on it. And I was sitting there just watching her, because I'm protective too. And Mr. Steinbrenner comes over and goes, whose daughter is this? And I said, oh, she's mine. And that's really about all I got to know him, or, get to talk to him. I remember there was a later event, which I want to say this first. I was so excited. Elson Howard's daughter was up there, and we got to say hi. We hadn't seen each other for, I don't know how long, but I still remember seeing her. It was so cool to see her. But Mr. Steinbrenner's daughter, she was always nice.
And he had a good relationship with your dad, didn't he, George Steinbrenner?
They kind of did, I guess. Something happened with Yogi or whatever. Dad took up for Yogi, and Mr. Steinbrenner was over at the restaurant or something like that. And if I remember right, Dad asked him to leave.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because if you were Dad's friend, Dad took up for you.
He did. He stuck up for his friends. And
Yep.
What was it like when your dad became a sportscaster?
I don't know if he really liked it, but I kind of liked him doing it. I can just remember one time what he was like on the sideline, and I think interviewing a couple of players or something. I wish I could remember who they were, but I don't know if he really liked being in that position or what. It's like when they were talking about they interviewed him. I think after he retired or whatever, when they talked about bringing the DH in, he goes, I wouldn't have done it because he hated first base. He wanted to be out there, chasing balls. And I think he felt like he wasn't really, I don't know why he did that, but he was hard on himself. He wasn't really, doing good with the team or doing good for the team or whatever, being there. And he couldn't hit as good as he could. And, things were going down because of the legs. And he just said, I would not have done a DH.
No. And he won 3 MVPs and
Yep.
he won the Triple Crown.
Yes.
And
he almost won the Triple Crown in 57 also. That was a heck of a year in 57.
Really? So which did he
everybody said, look at that, look at the stats from 56 and 57. I think he would have won it again, but God, was it Williams or God, I wish I could remember. Somebody else won it. He would have won it, but I think the batting averages were a little bit off.
Okay, so that was what he got home runs and RBIs, but he didn't get the
Yeah, I think it was the average. And or maybe it was the RBI. I mean, who knows? I wish I could remember, but I do remember someone telling me that his stats, if you look at them, he almost won the Triple Crown 2 years in a row.
So are you home watching your dad? Well, I guess back then you really couldn't watch it on television. If you weren't in New York or New Jersey, if you were in Texas. But are you there at the stadium, or are you watching the television, like going crazy rooting for him, or are you like, he's playing baseball, me and my brother just outside playing what we're doing?
Yeah, we'd be with the other ball players' kids, terrorizing the fans or something. But I remember Dad coming home one day. We're at dinner. And he asked all of his boys, he goes, I bet you all don't even know what I did today. And we're going, and it might have been one of those games. I hope I don't get it wrong too, but he might have hit 3 home runs or something that game. I don't know if he's ever done that. I know he's got some 2 home runs and stuff.
I think he did, but I'm not sure. I mean, what was his relationship with Bobby Mercer? Bobby was always my when I grew up, it was Bobby Mercer time. He was always my favorite player.
Dad loved Bobby too. And I tell you what, it's like every rookie that came, Dad took him out and, would hang out with him, made him feel welcome, but he loved Bobby too a lot. And, we got to know Bobby, and after Dad passed away, we would go up, play in his golf tournaments with, Junior and Tommy Sturdivant. He was a pitcher with the Yankees. They were still in Oklahoma City too. So we were good friends with Tommy Sturdivant Jr. And we were, Tommy would come over too, since we'd be up there playing in the tournament together. But Dad loved him, and, they respected each other and all that stuff. But I tell you what, I love it because, I grew up with these kids too. And we're all a family too. I love seeing Todd, and we got to see Todd and Mrs. Mercer, and Billy Martin Jr. was with us there, when we were watching, hoping that Judge was going to, see if he was going to hit that home run while we were there. But at the ball game here in Arlington, but like Dad had that pressure of, taking Joe D's place. I bet Bobby felt the same, I'm going to have to step up, take Mick's place.
Right. But your father was really good to Bobby Mercer.
Oh, yes. Dad was, I think also too, what really helped there was Dad was proud to be an Okie, and, Bobby was an Okie. So, and Tom Sturdivant was too. And, but God, there's a lot of other players, that were Okies also. But Dad had this thing that he kind of like, took him under his arm. But, it grew to love.
And Bobby wasn't a very big guy either. He was only, about 5'10"?
Yeah, he might have been 5'11" or something like that. But, Dad, like I always said, Dad had that big back from breaking those rocks. Everybody else was big on the team too, and had their muscles. But Dad, everybody talked about, his muscles. And if you look at some of those pictures too, look at the muscles in his face and even grit in his teeth. He used every muscle in his body to hit those monster home runs. I mean, that's one thing nobody's ever going to do, I don't think. I mean, nothing against Aaron Judge, but I don't even think he's hit one yet, 565 or whatever.
I mean, when he hit that ball that hit the top of the facade that almost went out of the stadium, were you around? Were you at the stadium or?
No, I was just a year old. That was 56, I believe. But
okay.
Billy Crystal, when we were talking to him, he talked about that. He said that was, I think, his first game. And he said he just looked up and it just kept going and going. And then, and he goes, and when it hit the top, it bounced back to almost the infield. It was hit so hard.
Crazy.
I wish God, if it could have just been a little bit to the right.
Yeah, that would have been the only home run out of Yankee Stadium.
Yes. And I would have just not really besides that, but I wanted to see how far it would go. I mean, God, just the elevation of it going up. I mean, and it was still going, and it was, higher than the stadium.
And they got all these mathematicians out and they drew all these diagrams and they said it would have won 560, like you said, 565.
Yeah. And but it's oh God, I think Dad, he didn't like to brag or nothing like that. He was never the type to want to take all the glory. But I really believe, I bet he probably thought just in the back, God, I wish it had gone out.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, did he ever hit one, even in batting practice, right? No one's ever hit one.
I think in Washington, he did hit a couple out of that stadium. And this is a funny story. Also, the one that did go out, across the street, there was a practice field. And Frank Gifford was out there. They were practicing. And it supposedly rolled up and hit Frank in the foot. I mean, how did God plan that?
Isn't that crazy?
Yes.
Wow. So as your father got older and he worked in Atlantic City for a while and they banned him from baseball. I mean, that's something that probably wouldn't happen today. That must have been pretty disappointing.
Well, they also banned Willie also.
Really?
He was doing one for a casino also. And if you remember that Sports Illustrated, after Bowie Kuhn was gone, God, I can't, my mind, I don't know. I just don't remember but the commissioner that came in reinstated Willie and Dad. And, if you can remember that, I think it's Sports Illustrated, they're all three on the cover. But Dad, Billy, my little brother, that was one of the times, he was only 19 when he got that dadgum cancer. And, it's like Mom even said too, they were needing money to pay for Billy's treatments.
Mm.
So that's one reason he took it.
Right. I mean, that was the unfortunate, the family curse, the Hodgkin's lymphoma, and your one brother did get it, Billy.
Yep. And, of course, you got Mickey Jr. later. Mickey Jr., Billy was 36. He didn't even make it to 40. That's another reason Dad did what he did. He always thought that all men died before they're 40. And, he thought he would go too. So, I mean, he lived every day like it was his last. But when Billy got it, and, I don't know how to say it, but, Billy died in 94 and then Dad was 95. But I still don't know how Mom, lived on seeing two of her sons die and her husband.
And Mickey Jr., he died from Hodgkin's
cancer also. Yep.
He did.
He was 47.
Wow. And he was quite a ball player.
Oh, he was the best.
And you guys used to play football all the time in the winter?
Oh yeah. It's like Danny even said, Dad would say, get all the kids. He would get all the kids from the neighborhood. We'd all be out there. Dad was the quarterback for both teams. And so he just sit there and call the plays and all that stuff. And, our yard wasn't real big, but it was big enough to have little games and stuff. But, Danny was talking about, later on, the kids would come up and go, man, thank your dad so much. He goes, Dad, I wish Dad would have known it, but he didn't really realize. But Danny said the kids were saying, man, he taught us a lot about that. I mean, I guess Dad took them fishing and all this stuff when hitting the off season.
So I guess
Dad shared a lot with the kids in the neighborhood.
I guess he was a pretty good quarterback.
Oh yeah, he could throw the ball too. Dad had a scholarship to go to OU, I think, but in high school, that's when he got hit, kicked in the shin or something like that, and thought they were going to have to amputate his leg, and thank God his mother goes, "No, you're not," because he got that osteomyelitis,
Really?
and he almost lost a leg, or there might not have been a Mickey Mantle, but thank God for his mother. She says, "No, you're not."
Wow. And they came close to taking his leg, huh?
Yep.
Wow.
And I think that's another reason why Dad got injured so easy in the leg. He had that disease.
Wow. It's really incredible that he had, I've seen that chart with all the different injuries
Yes.
that he had.
Right. It had all the years and what it was. And is it the one where he's on the crutches, dressed in the suit and stuff?
Right. Right.
And I think he's got one foot or leg wrapped up. I think it's the right one.
I think the closest player to him now is Mike Trout.
Oh yes. I did a excuse me. I did a thing for Major League Baseball a few years back. For comparing Dad and Mike Trout to each other and stuff. So that was fun. I can't believe they had me come up to New York, and I was out on we were out in the outfield, filming that thing for talking about Mike Trout for Major League Baseball. But I remember when we were doing it, I think just my heel was on the grass, and one of the groundskeeper came, "Hey, you can't step on the grass." I kind of started laughing and said, "Man, sorry."
They told you can't step on the grass. Huh?
Yeah.
Tell me something.
I wonder if he knew who I was, or maybe he wasn't. He was just exerting his authority.
Well, so how was spending time with Mike Trout?
I didn't get to meet him.
Oh, you did?
No, we did that thing up in New York, and it was the team was out of town, I think, and we had the field there to film our stuff out there. If anybody can ever catch it, just look up, I guess me with talking about Mike Trout. So man, it was just us there that day.
The All Eyes Visual VRP is a portable vision testing platform that includes visual fields, acuity, color vision testing, pupillometry, and extraocular motility. The visual leverages virtual reality, artificial intelligence, and augmented technologies to enable eye care providers to test for and monitor common eye diseases. Visit alleyes.com for more information.
MacuHealth, your science-born and tested solutions for visual performance, macular degeneration, and dry eye syndrome. New products coming soon. Embrace the science.
Rub your eyes often? Blurry or double vision driving at night? Red light. Stop. You may have keratoconus, a progressive eye disease which can cause vision loss. Visit coulditbekc.com to take the quiz.
If you rub your eyes and are experiencing changes to your vision, this may be a symptom of keratoconus, a progressive eye disease that may lead to significant vision loss. Early diagnosis is important, so don't ignore the simple act of rubbing your eyes. Please visit livingwithkc.com. Yeah, and Mike Trout kind of resembles your dad in a way. He has the good looks and he's strong and
yeah, he's got a big back too.
And
he can hit that ball also.
And they have very similar statistics through the beginning of their career. Unfortunately, Mike Trout gets hurt quite a bit as well. He's had a lot of injuries.
It's like we were kind of talking about earlier. I think Dad playing that injured all the time. That's one reason so many fans loved him. I mean, they saw him, go through a lot of pain, and the things he it's like people say, if he had two good legs his whole career, it's like he even said, he would have played like Willie did, 20 something years and all that, and no telling what records Dad could have kept on breaking.
No, he probably would have hit 800 home runs.
He's still, I say at least 700, because Hank and Moose, we did the fantasy camps, and God, those were a blast. I think us kids, some of the other kids would come with their dads, and I think us kids were being like our parents or our fathers. we were going out at night doing stuff. But I can remember them saying that oh God,
Hank Bauer and Moose Gowan you're talking
Oh
about.
yeah, they said if he had two good legs, they think he hit 200 or 300 balls to the monuments at Yankee Stadium, and they go if he'd been playing in any other ballpark, those would have been home runs.
That's right.
They
Wow.
they got to the monuments. I mean, all they had was about another 5 or 10 feet.
Well, what was he? Was he friendly with Mel Stoudemire, or was that toward
Oh
the?
yeah. Mel was a good guy too. And I haven't got to see them in a while, but no, they were good friends also. Dad, it was really a family back then. Like I said, at spring trainings, the kids would hang out, the wives hung out, the players hung out. But no, Dad, if you were on a Yankee and you were your team and everybody wanted to win, that's all Dad cared about. Of course, they loved each other too, but they all wanted to win. It gets addicting.
It sure does. Oh, well,
It's a lot funner to win than lose.
They won 7 times, right?
Yes, sir.
Same as his
12
number.
World Series. Dad played in 12 World Series out of 18 years.
We talked about this a little bit at the beginning, but what did you think when his baseball card was sold for $12.6 million, more than the second biggest piece of memorabilia, hand of God jersey from Diego Maradona from the World Cup?
Oh wow! I remember I keep referring to this, but it's funny, when you're at these card shows, you get some of the older fans and how they were talking about this and that. But golly, let's see, what was it again? I'm sorry.
About the baseball card.
Yeah.
More than the soccer player.
Dad was still alive, and I think that's when like the first rookie card ever sold, and it went for I forgot what year it was, but it went for like what 50,000 or something like that. And he goes, that was blah blah stupid. he goes, man, I don't know why anybody. He goes, they were just cards, and I wish we would have had one like I mentioned, but I remember back then, kids, we used to put them in the spokes of our bikes. I remember putting a Yogi, and I go, here, Yogi, let's go riding. And I put it in the front tire and took off. But one of Mickey Jr.'s friends, Bobby Cheney, and we still get to see him. He was always nice to Mom too. After Mickey passed away, Bobby would stop by and see how Mom was doing, and so we've got to have lunch with him too every now and then. But Bobby said, man, I helped your mom carry shoe boxes of cards out and put them in the trash.
Wow. That's crazy.
I'm going, God, just what cards were in there?
And did you know Tom Tresh or?
Yeah, a little bit. I remember at one of our camps, Tom was kind of just, taking it easy back by the backstop. And I just happened to walk there and we just started talking. And I wish I could remember what we were talking about, but man, we were just BSing there. But Tom was there, and I thought he was pretty cool too. He was just relaxing, just kicking back and stuff.
And when you go to these the Yankee fantasy camps, what's it like to spend some time with the fans who are such big fans and thought so highly of your dad?
God, I wish I should stop by some of the Yankee camps that they're still doing. But, after Dad and Whitey quit doing it, Hank and Moose took it over after Dad passed away. That's why we quit doing it. I think the last one we did, I know what it was. Mickey Jr., of course, Billy was already gone. So Mickey Jr., me and Danny, the youngest brother, we did the camp 1 year without Dad. It just wasn't the same for us. So Moose and Hank took it over, and they did it for a few years. So we kind of got out of the fantasy camp thing, and I don't know if the Fords win anymore either.
And what was what's Whitey Ford like?
Oh,
what
man,
was he like as a young guy?
Huh?
What was he like as a player?
Oh, I really don't know, but they were called the Three Musketeers, him, Billy, and Whitey. But he always had a good joke too and a good story. But I tell you what, Whitey was, him and Billy, we got to know the best. I mean, it seems like we always got to see him. But when we did spend the summers up in New Jersey, just right over the river from the ballpark, we got to go to Yogi's house and and Whitey's. So, we'd spend some of the off days over there. I remember going to Yogi's one time, and they had a pool and all that. And I don't know why. That's the only thing I really remember about it is like pulling up just, those homes in New Jersey and stuff like, I just remember all the big trees and, the houses were all like 2 stories and stuff like that. It seemed huge to me, but just see, I loved all the trees. I don't know what it was. It was just, and down here in Texas, we don't have that many. I mean, we got them, but not in the yards like that.
And Hank Bauer and Moose Scourin, what are they like?
They were cool too. I tell you what, that year after we did after Dad passed away and we did the fantasy camp one more year, they would sit down and they would tell us stories. And I wish I could remember more. I don't know why. I've had a couple of head injuries too, and I'm getting where I can't remember stuff good. And I hate that, but people keep telling me that we should write another book, and so maybe we will if I can remember it. I kind of, when things come to me, I kind of write them down now. So you never know. But Hank and Moose were great to us too, and I can remember at the fantasy camps when they would go out, they would always watch out for Dad and make sure he got back.
And what was some of the things that your dad used to tell you and your brothers, that some important lessons that he would teach you, coming from
one thing I remember, I was thinking about this the other day. One thing he says, don't ever lie to me. And God, what was it? God, it was something about God, if he ever, oh shoot, why do I have these moments? But he told me, hopefully I'll think about it in a minute, but he looked at me and he goes, if I ever catch you, maybe it was lying. He goes, I'll knock you on your butt. And he would. This made me think of something too. If we misbehaved, he didn't forget about it. I mean, I remember him, he'd get back from the season. First thing he did was drop his bag and he goes, go get it. And we'd line up and get our whoopings. And, we weren't allowed to, like move forward or anything. If you moved, you got another one. But he was a great disciplinarian. And, I think that's what I loved about him. He taught us to be tough too and take the pain and all that stuff. So, and, Mom loved him.
I guess that was from your grandfather. Your grandfather was pretty tough on your dad.
Oh yeah. And I think, I'm not going to get into other things today, but I just wish, I'm not even tough like that on my little girl, but a daughter's different than a son. I've probably babied her and protected her more, but I kind of wish I hadn't, because I want her to be tough too. But,
are your kids grown? And do they have?
Yeah.
Do you have
my little girl? I keep calling her my little girl. She's a little redhead, and she weighed 9'4" when she was born. And I said, all right, we're going to have a woman in the family that's over 5 feet, and I'll be dadgum if she's about 5 foot now. And she got that red hair and those blue eyes. And the 12th of November, she'll be 29.
And is she married with kids or?
Not yet. She hasn't found anybody. She had a couple of guys, but the one that she really likes, she still talks to me about him. I'm not going to mention his name in case you see this, but he got married to somebody else, and I think it broke her heart. They probably should have stayed together.
And you don't have any other kids, right? Just one.
No, I only had one too. My ex-wife now too. She had some trouble, and we thought she'd never get pregnant, and then just bam, God blessed us. Wow. And I've got little Marilyn.
And Danny has a couple of kids, right?
Yeah, he's got the only son, and then a daughter also, and then Mickey Jr., his daughter Mallory. Thank God, I'm glad she moved back to Dallas area. She's married, and they've got a little girl. We got to get some more sons in this family somewhere. But they named her. Her name is Mickey too. They named her after Mickey.
Wow, that's great.
So it's cool. And in fact, I texted Mallory last night. I don't get to see her as much as I'd like to, but her and her husband, he kind of travels some, but and she does her thing. She's kind of into I guess whatever that clothing stuff is called or whatever. But I'm taking care of her little girl now. So man, they did get to Rex, her husband, and Mallory, and then little Mickey. They all came to that first game with me and Marilyn to when the Rangers played the Yankees here, the last games of the season. So we did get to see her then. And that's the last time I've got to see her. But I texted her last night saying, we love you.
And at this point, do you guys, do you still enjoy the game, enjoy baseball?
Oh,
watch baseball?
I do. Oh, this is a good story. Speaking of little Marilyn, she was, oh God, maybe about 7 or 8. And we were at one of the Ranger games, and I think it was the Yankees. And the guy hit a ball or whatever, or struck out or something like that. She just looked at me. She goes, if that was Papa, he would hit a home run. I said, honey, he didn't hit home runs every time. She goes, yeah, he did.
Yeah. So does your daughter like baseball?
Oh, yeah. She's kind of my, even when I was married, she's my baseball girl. And so her mother would go every now and then, but mainly it's just, I would take her out there. I just kind of wanted her to see what her papa did.
So what's next for you, David and Danny? Are you going to write the book? Have a podcast?
Well, I'll ask God for another day. but yeah, I would really like to get a book going, and we've got some other things working, and I want to get Mallory involved with it too. I kind of want to get the family more involved in all the stuff too. But Will's kind of doing his thing, and Danny's daughter, she's about to graduate from TCU. And Marilyn's kind of got her thing with animals. She loves animals, and she's got her a horse and all that kind of stuff. But shoot, you never know what's going to happen. But I would love everybody in the family to start doing stuff with us. And Will's gonna, when me and Danny are gone, I've told him, I said, man, it's probably going to be you. If anybody wants to talk about an animal, it's going to be you. But Marilyn, the daughters can do it too if they want.
Well, I just want to thank you for spending time with me today. I mean,
man, I enjoyed it.
I mean, people just loved your dad, and he meant a lot to a lot of people.
Yes, he did. And I tell you what, it was that era of baseball. I think were just some magic years, and it's just. I thank the fans and all that stuff still.
He's a mythical figure that will live forever. And,
oh, yeah. And fans that did get to meet him, they'll come by and tell us some stories. And, man, it just, almost makes you tear up.
Is there anything that I might have left out that you'd like to share before we end?
No, sir. That's really pretty much it. I wish I could think of more right now, but some of the stories that when you mentioned it just made me think of some of the funny stuff. So I like I said, I wish I could remember more now.
You did great. And I certainly, David Mantle, I really appreciate you spending time with me. And, I of course, I'm a huge fan, and number 7 is that you're wearing it on your hat. We all love your story there.
Yeah, that's another thing. Dad told us never to ask for number 7 because when we were playing, somebody already had it anyway. But he goes, "Don't ever ask for 7."
Well, I want to thank you for joining me today. You're really a gentleman, and you were very generous with your time. And this interview, a lot of people are going to see it, and they're going to bring back memories, and it's going to bring up a lot of tears. So I want to thank you for joining me on the Open Your Eyes podcast.
Well, man, hey, anytime, sir. And man, I just appreciate you asking. It helps us keep Dad's memories out there.
Well, thank you so much. God bless you.
God bless you too, sir. Bye-bye.
Rub your eyes often? Blurry or double vision driving at night? Red light, stop. You may have keratoconus, a progressive eye disease which can cause vision loss. Visit coulditbekc.com to take the quiz.
If you rub your eyes and are experiencing changes to your vision, this may be a symptom of keratoconus, a progressive eye disease. that may lead to significant vision loss. Early diagnosis is important, so don't ignore the simple act of rubbing your eyes. Please visit livingwithkc.com.
Your eyes and your vision are under attack. Damaging blue light from the sun, your phone, your computer, your tablet, even light bulbs and car headlights is constantly bombarding you. The good news is our eyes actually already have a line of defense to counter the effects of blue light. This defense is made up of 3 pigments called carotenoids. MacuHealth with Micromicelle, the only supplement with the exclusive patent on all 3 macular carotenoids and Micromicelle technology.
The All Eyes Visual VRP is a portable vision testing platform that includes visual fields, acuity, color vision testing, pupillometry, and extraocular motility. The visual leverages virtual reality, artificial intelligence, and augmented technologies to enable eye care providers to test for and monitor common eye diseases. Visit alleyes.com for more information. Fitting multifocal contact lenses presents a big opportunity to meet patient needs while growing your practice. Alcon is your partner not only with our innovative portfolio, but through e-learning. Learn to enhance your multifocal strategy today with the Alcon Experience Academy.
OIE Broadcasting is the emerging leader in social media. We use scientific entertainment to drive more patients into your office. Visit oiebroadcasting.com and sign up today.
Since I bought Safe For You, my dad makes me clean his boat.
Es natural y es un buen producto.
Every time I go back to school, my mom always makes sure that I have my Safe For You products. I bring extra, and my roommates certainly don't mind.
It's a good thing I had Safe For You to clean up after this little guy.
When my hands get dry, I like to wash them with Safe For You.
And most importantly, the reason why I buy Safe For You is because it's safe for me and you.